All right, we're here with Nick Gardner again, and I'm
always coming back.
Always coming back. Thankful to have them to be able to service the truck and everything. So it's been here for a couple weeks. What, maybe more than a couple weeks?
Yeah, probably three and a half weeks.
Yeah. Which we're gonna go over everything that you've done to the truck, but a lot of servicing because I've been out playing with the truck and everything. So you said there wasn't anything really good going on inside the shop, so I think we'll probably skip that for this this sesh, but we'll go out to the truck and go and talk about that.
Absolutely. Let's go over what we did and what we found. So it's been what, 3 years since we built this truck?
Yes, it was the end of 2023.
Yep.
So 3 years.
Yep, coming up on 3 years, 25,000 miles. Probably about a third of those off-road, I would say.
Easily, yeah, because it's not a daily driven truck. The only time that this truck gets driven is if we're
to and from the desert.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I drive it here and there, but not major.
Not much.
So it's a lot of play miles, which is great.
Yep. So this trip was really revolved around maintenance and upgrades. So we went through the front end, give a good shakedown on everything since we got a good 25,000 miles on it. Took a look at everything. The shocks were recently gone through by Kevin at Dialed Shock Prep, so those we knew were good. We checked the bushings, the ball joints, upper ball joints were good. Lowers had very, very little play on them, which is a testament to this kit running 40-inch tires.
Did we, just put in context here, because this truck last was here to fit the 40s on it, and you guys did all the metal work for that. Did we see the mileage? What was the mileage? It was like
almost
6,000 miles?
Yeah, about 6,000 miles, yeah.
So 6,000 miles since the 40s have been on it, and back when the 40s went on it, you went through the whole front end and checked everything.
And everything was good, yeah.
So after, and mind you, that's all the same stuff that was on it, ball joints and everything, wheel bearings, everything.
Yeah, so that was running 2 years on 37s.
And then now we put 40s.
40s on it in October, so we're 6 months in on 40s. Starting to get a little wear, which it may have exaggerated with the bigger tires.
And where was the wear that you had found?
Really the only thing was the lower ball joints. That was the only thing that needed to be replaced. Hub bearings are still good with no issues. Upper ball joints are good, upper bushings are good, lower bushings are good, so there was no other issues there. Yeah, everything else was tight and problem-free.
Okay. Now, you went through everything, painted up stuff, checked over all your fabrication from when the truck was originally done, which is now, I think this is the third time it's been back here for that, because I'm a big advocate on going through the vehicle and making sure everything's
Fix it before it breaks.
Correct. Find it as soon as possible. So I don't want to, let me see how I should put this. So there's a little bit of scenario with this, some of the stuff that you found on the truck. And I'll talk about exactly more details of how that happened or my feelings of how it happened in another video. So, because I don't want you guys to be involved in that side of things. But what were the things that you found on this truck? Because I want to be open about the truck. I do use the truck. I was very adamant about that. I didn't want to buy a Raptor, and everyone said, "Oh, just buy a Raptor, buy a Raptor." And I was like, "No, I want to stay true to the Chevy GM platform," and I went with this GMC. And so I want to, you know, inspire other guys with GMCs and Chevys to do the same. So I want to be open to what happens to the truck and not hide anything. So why the truck sat here for so long? Why don't we get into that and just tell me what you found, and then I'll do another video and explanation of the casualty of that stuff.
Yep, so as anybody that's into this knows how quickly a 1 week job can turn into a 4 week job. We started pulling the front axles apart. Well, first we got a complaint that the axles were making noise in the front, so we wanted to dig deeper into this.
I complained.
Yep.
I was complaining that I was hearing some noise.
So we pulled the axles out, found that the inner CV joints were completely grenaded. That was issue one. Upon pulling out the driver's side axle, we found metal shavings on the inside of the output shaft of the front differential. So we went to pull the stub shaft out and found that it was broken off inside the front differential. Yes. So now metal shavings have gone into the front diff. It's not as simple as pulling the diff cover, cleaning metal shavings out, because they're in the bearings, they're in the gears, and you want to obviously check for more extensive damage since you do drive this truck in four-wheel drive so much.
Yeah.
We pulled the front diff, sent it over to San Diego Gear and Axle. Upon pulling it apart, the complete unit was unusable. At that point, we had to source another correct diff, send that back to San Diego Gear and Axle, have it rebuilt, put it back in. So we ran into a couple-week delay there.
Sure.
We found a couple issues as well. These trucks do have an aluminum spindle on them. And it looks like at some point it had been taken apart and damaged.
Do we have that spindle here?
Yes, it is here.
Okay, so I'm gonna B-roll in some sections of what happened to the spindle.
So the steering arm where the tie rod connects on the passenger side was completely cracked through. The ABS bolt on the passenger side was also stripped, so it couldn't be tightened, so the ABS sensor was moving inside the spindle. And before figuring out these diff issues, we thought maybe that was the issue that was activating the ABS. And then once we got into it further, we found out the root cause of all those issues.
Yeah, so back up on that was, one of the things other than servicing the truck, I was having issues on my last couple, like at King of the Hammers, it started a couple times, and then when I took it out to the snow, it really progressed even worse. But when I was turning the truck, all of a sudden it would drop out of four-wheel drive. The ABS would come on and drop out of four-wheel drive automatically. So I was just not sure what was going on, and that we find is
that's
that
what the
ABS,
issue was with the front diff. Yeah.
That ABS.
Well, yeah, that's what we thought.
ABS.
It was the ABS sensor. The ABS sensor pulling out of the steering knuckle.
Yeah. So the passenger side ABS would just it just was loose, and so it was breaking contact. So that was throwing a light, which then was triggering the computer to pull it out of four-wheel drive. But then on my last run, I even remember hearing it. There was a loud pop. I thought it just popped out of four-wheel drive, but I actually.
That's where the front diff broke.
Yeah, snapped my front outer stub shaft.
Yep.
So, and let's clarify, how did I eat up my inner CV shafts? What was the casualty? What was the reason that, as you took them apart, you had found something right away?
Yep, so these inner shafts, they have needle bearings on them. There's a planetary gear with a needle bearing on it, and at some point the axle had pulled out of the inner CV cup, it had rotated and then been put back on. So
and that doesn't happen when it's in the
It's not a mechanical fault.
It's not a mechanical
fault. This is a human error. So yeah, it had pulled off, and the whole reason that we got to this is because the inner CVs were leaking on both sides. So we went through the original set of axles with no issues. They got replaced, and then now they started leaking. And all this had come about after a recent trip on another project, an area of work that was done. So that's when we kind of started digging into the axles and figure out what was going on. And it looks like the CV boot had been put back on, but then the groove on the CV boot didn't match up with the groove on the CV cup, so it naturally started leaking and causing issue after issue.
There was a gap.
So there was no grease in either one of the inner CVs.
And then also, we discussed this too, because CV boots get clamped on with the clamp, what kind of clamp is that called?
Yeah, so it's a specific clamp for a CV boot. And you use CV boot pliers to clamp the clamp. It's not like a regular hose clamp. And then also we do add CV boot sealant, which seals the boot to the inner CV cup, and then we clamp it just as an extra layer of protection for leaks.
And the clamp was not your clamp?
Nope, the clamp was not our clamp.
Not glued.
And it was no longer glued. So we knew that it had been taken apart and put back together at some point.
Okay, and I will personally get into that later, because that's not anything for Dirt King to be involved in. And again, I just want to be specific that, again, being transparent, that I like to say that I've never tore up a CV shaft, and I'm so frustrated to learn that my front CVs got torn up. So that is a frustration point personally. But again, I try to catch all this stuff as fast as possible. And again, I'll go into more details on it, but I'm so thankful to have Dirt King just be able to go through it all. And I want to point something out. I know there's a lot of people that might watch all my content and be like, oh, Nick's sponsored by Dirt King. I'm not sponsored. This is just a good customer relation with a brand. And, they take care of me just like they would take care of any other customers. Obviously, they've have a lot of done to the truck and have their hand a lot involved in the truck, so they want to take care of the truck also because their name is kind of attached to it at that point. But there's nothing special on any of this stuff. I do content because I love doing content myself, and then Nick is great to jump on with me with this stuff. But I just want to point that out. So let's get past that, and maybe is there anything to show on the front end that was done? I mean, other than you just cleaned it up and it's got those new spindles on it and you've got new CV shafts in it.
Yep, so yeah, we got the new complete axle assemblies installed. We installed the Baja Kit's steel spindles. So this no longer uses a aluminum knuckle, it's now a cast steel. I'm very interested to see how those work out. This is the first time that we've used them, and hopefully they work out great. So
yeah, and so I just, you know, a couple things here Nick talked about, but so usually practice, not for everyone, but not on aluminum spindles, but practice is to hit the receptacle right there to knock the tie rod out.
Yep.
And someone had hit the tie rod a handful of times and ended up cracking the aluminum, forged aluminum.
Yeah, where it's actually cast together on the front side of the steering knuckle, there's a seam, and it's split right at that vertical seam right there. It doesn't take a lot to break a ball joint free out of an aluminum knuckle, and sometimes if you just hit it too hard, it'll start to mushroom and deform the aluminum, and then that can cause you some serious issues, which could be catastrophic. If that steering arm comes off while you're in the dirt, that could be very bad.
Yeah, 100%. And then, you know, the reason why we ended up with these spindles was because the price-wise, it wasn't much more to just buy these than it was a new set of spindles from factory. So that's why we're using them. And we're going to see how they hold up. Yeah, they should be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good alternative.
What else do we have? In the back, anything?
No, just painted the frame in the back.
Okay.
Painted the frame in the front.
So we basically just had service.
Yep.
And found the lower ball joints.
Yep.
Wheel bearings, everything's good. Oh, and you also aligned the truck and rotated the tires.
Yeah, we did an alignment on it. We added the Apex valve stems front and rear.
Oh yeah.
Those are great as a quick release valve stem. Everything's integrated into the stem itself, so it makes it really easy.
So I basically just spin that off and then pull the red little
That's it. You just pull it towards you. That opens up the valve, and then you close it, and then the valve stem is what holds that valve down. So it makes it very easy to air down. You can air down your tires in about 10 to 15 seconds each.
You've used them a lot?
Yeah. I have them in all my personal vehicles. I love them.
Yeah, I saw Gary Graham had them when we were going on some trips, and that's what interests me in them.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you guys had them. And then on the rear, just basically went through everything, checked everything. The last time when the 40s went on it, the rear leaf springs were rebuilt with new bushings and sleeves and everything. So this time around, everything was still looking good. Okay. Well, any other messages to people that have a truck like this that you get common questions for, that you might want to just touch on while we got the
video
going?
Just maintenance is key. I think, you know, having this kit on ball joints, it really shows, you know, what this kit's capable of. I mean, like I said, this is 25,000 very hard miles. I think this is probably one of the 19 and newer trucks that's driven the hardest. I think what you do with this truck is really a testament to what this platform is capable of.
And we've discussed, like, why don't you guys do a uniball or more of a, you know, a more throw, more stroke? But, you know, the ball joint, every time we keep on discussing it, you know, really the ball joint pin is nowhere weaker than what a uniball pin is.
So still a uniball is going to be limited to the size of pin that goes through it. Typically it's a 1/2-inch bolt that is used on these. So yeah, the shank of the ball joint pin's the same size as the bolt that's going to be going through a uniball. The ball joint's undeniably going to drive better on the street. A lot of these guys that are building these trucks, it's not a dedicated off-road truck.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I believe that uniballs and Heims have their place, but I don't think on a daily driven vehicle that's 90% street driven. Not in this case, but you know, most of these guys.
But
that are
I do
building
drive
these trucks,
it to and from, like we went to Colorado, and we went to,
you can drive this truck
Arizona.
1,500 miles on the road, and you don't get any driver fatigue. It's quiet, it's comfortable. It's just a well-rounded kit.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you guys have planned for this platform?
I think people are, you know, kind of pushing these trucks more. Now that these trucks, this chassis is essentially 7 years old, I think they're a lot more obtainable. I think eventually we might look into doing a kit that has maybe a fabricated knuckle. So we'll see. You know, this company is always evolving. We're always coming out with new stuff. It just takes the demand and the test dummy. So
right, and the demand is the end users, and really, like you said, the trucks getting old enough to where they're more affordable to do more things to them, and let alone not so new to where people don't want to.
Yep, where they're scared to get a little further into them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm stoked with the truck. Kelly and I are really happy to have the truck back. I know it wasn't gone for too long, but it was like you know, between the time that I knew that I need to have it serviced and then you guys got me fitted in, and then the time here, we're eager to go and start planning some more
put some
trips
miles on it now.
And go put some miles on it now. I think we were talking about maybe doing some trips too.
Yep, I'm ready.
So we're going to discuss that and go from there. But if you guys have any questions, that is Nick Gardner. I am Nick Vasquez, but Nick Gardner is the guy to talk to over here at Dirt King Builds. And who's the sales reps over at the other facility?
So any Dirt King products, you can reach out directly to Dirt King or Dirt King Builds. Jaron is the sales manager over at Dirt King. He can get you set up, and we can get you set up as well here with any tech questions or help or just general questions you guys got.
Same company, split up in 2 different divisions.
Yep.
You have the build shop, and then you have the actual retail where they're manufacturing.
Yeah, manufacturing and sales.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, guys, if you guys have any questions, reach out to Nick or the guys over at the retail side of things. And if you guys got any questions for me, let me know. But I can't wait to get this truck out. And I will be following up with more information about gears and then what actually, in my opinion, what some of this stuff happened and everything. We'll go into that later, but I'll be following up with that later. Thanks, guys.